In this video, I'm going to show you how to place the motor on your power mirror on this Chevy Silverado. The same procedure applies to both left and right side view mirrors, so let's get started. For this procedure, we have to remove the mirror glass. To do that, I recommend turning it inward all the way so you can get access in here, and very carefully, with gloves, pry this out with the help of a trim tool if needed. You definitely want to wear gloves because if the glass breaks, it can cut you. Also, you can cover this in some painter's tape or really any other tape that you have that will prevent it from exploding if it does happen to shatter, which is common to happen when you remove the glass. Obviously, try not to break it, especially if you're reusing it, which is what I'm going to try to do, but it does happen. Just keep that in mind. You may have to buy a new glass when you do this. I'm going to stick my trim tool all the way to the center. It's actually pretty difficult to see, so I can't really show you. I can barely see in there. Basically, the points that's held on in is right in the middle here on that motor, and that's what we're trying to pry away. There we go. All right. So as you can see, that requires quite a bit of force, but it's off now. If you don't want to disconnect the heated mirror connections, don't. I will, because I need to get this glass out of the way. So just slide these off. They're just little spade connectors that slide down. They might be somewhat corroded from being here over time. Just pull these off and set the mirror glass aside. Now with this exposed, you'll see 4 T10 screws that we have to remove. There's one in each of these holes. Once again, T10. And once you remove them all, this should pop off. Save those screws. We have to reuse them on the new motor. Okay. There it is. Don't go too far with it. It does have an electrical connector on the back side. This you could just grab and pull away, and there's your old motor. This is the new motor, and you have a couple options here. As you can see, this piece right here is what attaches to the mirror, and it's stuck on the mirror from the old motor. If it's in good condition and you don't want to remove it off the mirror, you could just pop this off. It's just on a center pivot point here, and then you just reconnect these two like that, and you basically just swap your motor without this piece that connects to the mirror. I will show you how to remove this so I can go through the whole process, even though mine is reusable. And even if you do remove this and you plan on swapping it out for the new one, you have two options even there. You can take this off and put it on the mirror while you have the mirror off, so then you have to just bolt on the motor like we just unbolted the old one. Or you can attach this entire piece to the mirror and then take the glass and slide it up and over on the tabs here that attach it to this bracket. What I'm going to do is pop this off, put it on the mirror while it's off, because I feel that it's easier to attach the mirror onto the motor with just pressing on this center pivot piece rather than trying to hook all 4 of these tabs on when I can't see anything. So here's the trick to this. I'm going to take a metal trim tool. I'm going to be careful with it. I don't want to break anything. And then you'll see that on this piece here that attaches to the mirror, you have a cutout where it's more open than the other side. On this side, that it is more open on, I'm going to open it up like a clamshell by prying the motor out like that. And then you'll see that there are 4 basically little arms here, 1 in each corner if this was a square, and that's what controls the movement of the mirror. These are clipped on each end, and there's that center pivot point. So what I'm going to do first is try to unhook these by just prying it up like that, and then once I unhook these 2, or whichever 2 you're trying to unhook, I can pry some more and hopefully the whole thing will pop out. It's going to be very difficult for me to show it since I have to hold it fairly tight at the same time, but that's why I wanted to explain it first. You'll hear it pop though. That's 1. Doesn't take a lot of force for these little ones. And that's 2. Oh, actually, the center pivot point popped out as well. If this didn't pop out for you, you would just go right in there with the pry tool and pop it up like that. And at this point, we can continue prying these out. Just like that. It's got 1 left, which is on the other side. Okay, that has been separated. This can go on the mirror glass. and this can go on the mirror itself. Let's put this on, that way it's out of our way. Grab your electrical connector, reconnect it. It's gonna have to click in place. Line this up. It's not gonna stay yet. Gonna have to put some screws on. I'm gonna start this screw in through the hole just so I can basically guide it in place. And once it's in, I'll start threading it on. When you tighten these, once it bottoms out like this, just give it 1/8 of a turn at most. They are threading into plastic, and if you strip that out, you'll basically just need an entire mirror assembly at that point, because you won't have a way to properly secure these. So the motor is now attached to the mirror assembly itself. We have these two waiting for the mirror glass to be plugged in, and then I'm going to try to just even out these tabs here, the arms that pivot the mirror glass. That way when I attach it, they are more likely to all basically snap into place all at once. To remove this bracket off of the mirror glass, all you have to do is take a little pocket screwdriver, and you'll notice that it has 4 points that it mounts on. On each of those points, there's a tab sticking up. Take that little screwdriver and just pry it down. This entire assembly is going to have to slide down, and as you pry it out, you can see this one already popped out. Well, those already popped out as well, and now you can just remove it, and there's your mirror glass. When putting the new one on, it's as simple as making sure it's lined up the right way. You can't really misalign it because the tabs will only fit in one direction. Once you line all 4 up, push it up till it clicks. Just like so. Double check all 4 visually to make sure they are seated, and they are. This pivot point is greased because it already comes greased, so let's connect the mirror and put it onto the motor. So now let's connect the heated mirror circuit and put it back onto the motor. Now if you remember exactly which one came off of which tab, well, put them back the way they were, but this is basically just a large resistor, so it doesn't matter which tab gets connected to which side. Now, line up the center point with this and tap it on. Make sure when you tap it, you don't actually break the glass because, well, you've come this far without breaking it. All right, looks like I got it in. Let's make sure it's in on all 4 tabs or arms. All right, that's in, it's installed, it works just fine. Clean it and you're good to go.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.